Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
WNBA has a massive, massive problem, and we're going to talk about it. The ratings just came out for the first games of the playoffs, and while it's not completely terrible news, it is not a good sign for the WNBA. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Of course, as you can see here, Fever ratings fall without Clark, but rest of WNBA game ones surge. And yes, they are up, but there's a reason for that. We're going to get to that in a moment. So let's take a look at this. Now, first, actually, before I get this, because I've seen where ratings are up for the year, I think about 3% compared to last year. We had ESPN put out, I think it was their best season ever. And of course, a lot of this is being spun in the way that, hey, the WNBA is on firm footing. It's a popular league. It is not about just Caitlin Clark. A lot of other players and teams are getting more people to watch the WNBA, getting more people to tune in to the WNBA. Is that true? Nah. Of course not. No, it might be a tiny bit, but not to the degree that they're saying, and here is why. Because 95% of this season has been Caitlin Clark fans. First, early in the season, Caitlin Clark was playing, and we got massive numbers, multiple 2 million plus games with Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. And then the Caitlin Clark fans held on and held on and held on, very hopeful that Caitlin Clark would eventually return. So they were supporting the team as they were going. And of course, they found out that the Indiana Fever were stringing them along, that the organization was stringing them along, that if not lying to the fans, they were absolutely misleading the fans in terms of the severity of Caitlin Clark's injury and what the timetable was for her return. And we're not even going to get into the fact that it seems like a lot of the signals we got from the likes of Stephanie White were that they didn't even want Caitlin Clark to return. They shut her down, having no idea how long or how the rest of the season was going to be in terms of how far they would get in the playoffs. So let's take a look at some of these ratings from these first games of the first round. Scroll down a bit. The Indiana Fever Atlanta Dream game drew 951,000 viewers on ABC. Sounds fantastic, right? And ABC, of course, is one of the channels like CBS where you should get the biggest numbers. That is 47% less than the 1.8 million the Fever Sun game drew last year. Folks, the ratings were cut in half for the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream. The Caitlin Clark fans have finally had enough. They were of course checking out because of Caitlin Clark not playing, but a lot of the reasons they were checking out because of that was because how Caitlin Clark has now been treated for 2 years, how she was treated this season, how she was treated with the referees that led to these injuries. And then of course they saw the way her coach talked about her, the way teammates threw shade at her, the way it seemed like Stephanie White didn't even want her back, and of course, the way the Indiana Fever organization lied and misled to continue to get the fans to show up both in person and watching them on TV. Now, yes, some of the other ones were up. I get that. But again, look, 1 p.m., Golden State Valkyries and Minnesota Lynx, 680,000, up 66%. But think about that. It is only 680,000 on ESPN, and that is up 66%. 5 p.m. slot, Liberty Mercury, 19%, but fewer than 500,000 viewers, 481,000. And of course, 7 p.m. Seattle Storm, Las Vegas Aces, up 3%, but only 476,000 viewers. I get some of the games. Yeah, we had to go up against that 421, 425 time slot with my Philadelphia Eagles in their rematch between against the Chiefs, who they put BTA in the Super Bowl, and that delivered. It was historic viewership. I believe it was over 33 million viewers. But obviously, the big number that stands out here that should be warning, warning, warning for the WNBA. Alarm should be blaring all over the offices for the WNBA Indiana Fever, Atlanta Dream, 951,000, basically cut the ratings in half from last year. And I promise you, WNBA, a lot of these people will not be back next season. And in fact, you might not be back next season, right? So we've got these absolutely terrible, terrible ratings, and the WNBA has handled everything poorly every single step of the way. And now we've got what? We've got the CBA that has to be negotiated. We have a players' union led by owners of a competitor league in Unrivaled, which makes things a lot more difficult. The WNBA has to get that solidified, or there may not be a 2026 season, which would, of course, probably destroy the WNBA in such a way that they may never recover from it. And then you also have to look at this and worry about, well, wait, we just signed this new media rights deal, which kicks in next season. And I promise you, those that shelled out these numbers, the monetary numbers for this, they're looking at these ratings and saying, whoa, wait a minute. And I've said this before, we don't know all the ins and outs, the nitty gritty, the dirty details of the media rights deal, but I have to believe, right? These are not dumb people who put these together. These are the people that know these numbers inside and out. And I have to believe there are triggers, clauses within that deal that say, hey, if you don't hit these numbers, by a certain date, maybe there's a 3-year sort of, look in there where we say after 3 years, if we're not liking this, if this isn't worth it, it's a renegotiation at lower rates, or that's just a complete and total opt out. And then the WNBA would be in real trouble. But you cannot have ratings like this with the media rights deal that this league has. And then you factor in that CBA going forward, it does not look good. I mean, I got to tell you, and I got to say, it kind of stinks to be someone who's so pro Caitlin Clark to get whacked with this as well. And I've talked to some other people as too, but I mean, my views are way down. Thanks to the Caitlin Clark injuries, but then even more so when the Indiana Fever decided to shut her down for the season. So I'm telling you, I feel it firsthand. Okay, Caitlin Clark fans are checking out, and the ones that are checking out have been so disgusted by everything that has happened to Caitlin Clark in this league for 2 years now. They will not be back. Do you understand what I'm saying, WNBA? Listen to me closely. Read my lips. They will not be back. One other thing that I would add that's also masking the problem a little bit is Nielsen. We talked about this last season. I know Ben Daniel has talked about it a few times as well, and that is what Nielsen is doing with their new big data and their panel data and so forth that has been implemented. So numbers can't even really be directly compared to last year as this is implemented because there will be a boost in ratings. I know the NFL is absolutely thrilled with this. They think they're going to get more accurate numbers, which is going to generate more revenue in terms of their ratings. If we go take a look, there was actually an article just on this and the NFL. And as it says here, not only is the new Nielsen methodology expected to reflect a broad-based audience boost. Now, this part specific to the NFL just finishes off, but the league is relishing the opportunities in a 2025 schedule, blah, blah, blah. The point being, Nielsen and the way they've changed methodology is going to lead to an increase in ratings as well, but that doesn't mean that there actually is. If there's an increase of 10%, that doesn't really mean that there is a 10% increase in ratings compared to what the ratings were before, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does, but the WNBA has a lot of things to figure out right now because this is a massive, massive warning sign for this league, for the Indiana Fever's first playoff game to be cut in half from last year. And that is completely because the way the league and the team handled Caitlin Clark's injury and then said that she is out, she's done, she is not coming back. And fans said, well, I'm out. I'm done. She's the only reason I've ever watched. You treated her like crap over and over and over again. You attacked me over and over and over again. You disparaged me. You said I was all of these awful things. You made it clear you didn't want Caitlin Clark in your league. And so I'm not going to give you my time or my money. But so yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, appreciate you checking out this video. Do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. It really truly does help. Go have the day you deserve, and I will talk to you later.